Good evening, guys. Warm welcome to the program. Today, we are going to see one important topic supplier relationship development or management, shortly known as SRM. Supplier is one of the supply chain partner who have been ignored so long because we were treating supplier only for cost basis, and we were not developing the supplier in the real sense. Okay, but because possibly many of purchasing executive have not formally trained on how to develop the relationship with their vendors, but the situation may be different. If you are from a sales department, you may have a matured relation with our customers, because most of the salespeople, they are from a management background and they know the relationship. Okay, they have studied it, maybe it's easier for them to implement. Whereas in purchasing, we do not have a formal education, and that too in a supplier relationship management, it is very poor, especially in Indian conditions. The people do not give priority to supplier. Only we were pushing them to reduce cost, reduce cost, reduce cost. But now the challenges are changing. It has become very important that we should work with the supplier as a partner and implement, because now customers are demanding. They want things better than yesterday, and tomorrow they want better than today. In such, we cannot avoid any partnership with vendor. There also, you cannot to go and develop this partnership with all 100% of your vendor. So you need to find out who is critical for your organization, because developing relationship also involves effort and time, also money. So we have to be careful how we can do it, which supplier to select, and what are the methods available to do it. So I am trying to give a brief introduction about a program called the SRM, which is available as a self-learning program in our website. Here I have taken a few introductory slides to highlight the importance of this program. Allow me a few seconds to share the screen. Hope all of you are able to hear and see my screen. Welcome again. The program today we are going to see is SRM, Supplier Relationship Management. Unlike other aspects of purchasing, this managing supplier relationship is somewhat tough and difficult. Though many organizations have a title like vendor development or supplier development, really the process what they are doing is somewhat not related to development or relationship development. It is something different in many organizations. They do not really focus on relationship. And also you may see this aspect is being ignored by many purchasing professional. On the other hand, as I was telling, if you go to the sales, they have a better relationship with their customer, and because they have been educated, graduated, they go to MBA colleges, the relationships are being trained with them. Unlike purchasing, they do not get a formal education or training on. Even purchasing, we don't have a formal training institute in India, so it has become a problem to develop under relationship. So many people try to avoid that. Okay, they try to manage them without having a proper relationship. So in this short video, let us see what are the aspects why we need this relationship. I am streaming live in various social media, including LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. and all the previous sessions are being recorded in the Facebook, YouTube. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel if you would like to see all our previous videos. More than 100 videos are available. Just before diving into the topic, let me introduce myself. My name is Pattabhiraman. This is my LinkedIn profile. I am searchable by the short name Supply Chain Master. Recently, I have been in Udemy less than 1 month. You can see more than 1,000 candidates have enrolled for my program, because you may not get a combination of a organization experienced person with the APIC certified, also with the analytic knowledge. Okay, so when I went to Udemy, there was a rush to enroll for my program. You can see the number of people there. Okay, coming to my qualification, I am basically engineer with PG degree in management as well as in data science. I have nearly 2.5 decades working in this global organization. I have been in various department functions at various level during my career. So purchasing was one of the important function in my career. Okay, last 10 years in this career, I have been heading supply chain management, end-to-end management. Currently, I am the CEO for the current organization known as Thoughtware Training Private Limited. Coming to my certification, if you are a supply chain professional, you should be aware about the certification from APIX or ASCM. Okay, so these are globally recognized certifications. Sometimes purchasing professional are also expected to have these type of a wider supply chain knowledge rather than narrow purchasing knowledge. So I have seen in the recent job portal they are expecting purchasing guide to have these type of certification. These are core supply chain certifications. Okay, apart from that, I am also certified from Demand Driven Institute. They provide certification like DDPP, Demand Driven Planner Professional. I am basically a certified purchasing manager from ISM, now that is replaced by CPSM, certified professional in supply management. So if you are looking for a career in purchasing and want to continue in purchasing, better have these type of globally recognized certification. ISM, you can get the Google up, they are available even in India. Only thing, maybe it's expensive. If you need any of the certification, it may cost at least 1 lakh and above. And most of the thing, there is no proper guidance on how to study and prepare for the exam. In any case, if you need any assistance, you are welcome to reach out to me. I am also qualified in analytics. Coming to our organization, we are based in Bangalore, 5-year-old organization. We provide both consulting and training in the field of supply chain, purchasing, and logistics. And we do a globally renowned program known as supply chain analytics or sourcing analytics. Okay, applicable for supply chain and purchasing professional. If any one of you interested, you can reach out. You can always type in the LinkedIn comments if you need any further guidance on this. Okay, coming to common types of supplier relationship, basically we start with the arm's length supplier, where it is a very simple and commonly found buyer-seller transactional arrangement for named goods or services. So it's only a day-to-day activity. Maybe we are not frequently buying this item, or it's not a expensive item. So most of the activity, if you take purchasing, it's mostly considered to be arm length supplier where there is no relationship. Then the next level comes subcontractor. Here, a supplier usually of services engaged to complete a specific task or supply of a package of a work. Okay, typically involves communication of a detailed requirement and the interaction regarding technical and specification matters. So it's one step above the arm length. You need to find out what kind of relationship is there, and which one is suitable for which kind of purchases should be clear. You cannot afford to have relationship with all 100% of your vendor. Then third category comes a preferred supplier, supplier who has a formally or informally recognized status as one who has mandated or selected in preference of other supplier, potentially defined within a framework or master agreement where the terms of engagement and perhaps even commercial term has been agreed in advance. We can also call them as a green pass supplier. We do some preliminary audit and then certify them. When we give a certification, we give a lot of concession to them in the terms that we do not inspect their product or count their quantity, because they have to self-certify those products, and in case if we find any violation, we may penalize. And this is one of the method criminal which is working fine in auto industry, okay, where we do not want to count the item nor inspect the item. So that is the next level. Coming to the other level, outsourced provider, a supplier who has taken on the responsibility to fulfill a core activity and requirements or function of a company. Here, close to day-to-day interaction at an operational level is required. Next one becomes critical supplier, a supplier who fulfills the requirement that we cannot do without, and where we cannot easily switch the supplier between one to other. Okay, like this we have a strategic supplier. Finally, it goes to a partner, and if you have to depend 100% on the supplier, possibly the final form comes to a group company or strategic partnership or some type of a collaboration comes. So you need to understand what are the various relationship available and where you can apply this relationship. Okay, you can see in this image, one is intensity of relationship, starting from arm length to close and collaborative relationship on the x-axis. On the y-axis, importance to the business, starting from tactical to strategic. You can see if we are, our focus is more if you want strategic items, then close and collaborative relationship is required, like maybe starting with a technology or creative partner or alliance partner, or finally if required a merger may be required when you are planning for a strategic sourcing. On the other end, possibly when you are looking for tactical short-term purchase and going for arm length, it could be starting with a transactional supplier where you do not want to have any relationship. Whenever there is a requirement, you are approaching this vendor and doing it. But this cannot happen everywhere. This is where at least you should go to the next level. You certify, audit the supplier and make them as a preferred supplier, and in that case they will be in a potential to become strategic supplier. You can see various level you can place the supplier depending upon criticality and the strategic nature of the purchases. Okay, arm length, though we are talking at a transactional level, but nowadays the importance is also given for low value item purchase, because many organization, even if the item is small value and you are going to take once in a time, but it may cripple your production or customer service level. So this thinking is also changing now. Why we have to isolate a supplier as a transactional supplier? Why we cannot develop them into at least a preferred supplier? There is five C's which organization need from the supply base. If I want to develop a relationship, first you have to understand what are the things we are expecting from the supplier. So this is called 5C. One is confidence in our suppliers and the supply chain. Next is clarity regarding which suppliers are important to us. Third one is collaboration. Here, with the critical flow that can make a big difference for us. Next one is closeness with those suppliers that are important to us. Finally, the contribution of value matched to the needs of the organization. So these 5 C's are important when we look for working with the vendors. So in this aspect, we are also seeing one important model called Viper, defining the value we need from the supplier. Viper is a model used to determine the organizational needs and wants to realize from the supply base. Viper stands for value, innovation, performance improvement, effectiveness, and the risk. Okay, we have to get a value from the vendor, and we have to see how we can extract this item as per the Viper model. Viper defines our different requirement and the reasons for instigating some sort of relationship or intervention with the supplier. It also summarizes different levels of value possible. Okay, the relationship is also based on what kind of value we are expecting from the vendor. Okay, this model can be graphically represented like this. You can see Viper means value, innovation, performance, effectiveness, risk. Of course, when you are doing purchasing with any vendor, it starts from the basic. You are trying to protect your risk. You have to must do a risk reduction. Why you are going for outsourcing? You are going for mainly risk reduction, possibly brand protection, security of the supplier. Then comes the next level, effectiveness of the operation and the business between the parties to ensure smooth running. So you have to see which level you want to transact with the vendors. Possibly the next step is you need to segment the supplier and fit them at various level to shoot them. Third level could be performance improvement. Once you have completed risk effectiveness, then go to the third level for a performance improvement. Fourth level could be you should expect innovation from the supplier. What he is able to do better than the last year. It's not always the price. Okay, the ideas what he is going to do, or the method he is going to use, or improved material, or reduction of pollution, or sustainability, all this could form innovation. So you should expect some innovation from your supply base. This is where relationship is going to build. Okay, because supplier is also interested to do innovation only if he feels that he can associate with your organization for a longer period of time. Finally, the final stage will be value for from working together. It should be mutually beneficial. Okay, whenever we work together, it should be mutually beneficial. Now you can fit this various relationship with respect to this Viper model. When you want a basic risk reduction, you can fit them in critical supplier, subcontractor, transactional supplier. You can see as we go up to the value from the working, then you can see we are gradually going to improve the relationship, like going from preferred supplier, outsourced provider, alliance partner, strategic supplier, technology or creative partner, alliance partner, merger or group company. So there are so many things going inside in developing a relationship. I feel many of the organizations do not consider this technical aspect. It is not just providing a courtesy to the supplier or having a copy. No, it is much more, and there is a methodology available to evolve that relationship, because supply base contributes to our brand equity. Okay, in terms of fulfillment, improved effectiveness, competitive edge, end to end brand development. So this also depends upon what type of relationship you are having with the vendor. Degrees of collaboration can be from arm length to integrative. So each one has a different method how to transact with the supplier. If we are doing cooperation or collaboration or integrative, this is what we are trying to cover in detail in our program. Here I am trying to give a brief introduction about that. There is something framework called RAQSCI, where you can also put the requirement or relationship in this model, starting basic from regulatory requirement satisfaction. Second one is assurance of supply. Third one could be quality. Next one is a service requirement, then cost or commercial requirement, finally coming to the innovation requirement. So different way we can see this relationship. Where possibly sometime we also put the Viper model into this model and take care of overall requirement. Normally this comes in a category management as a business requirement one side, another side is a relationship requirement. So we have to match the requirement. By developing the relationship, you are not going to compromise on anything. In fact, here what we are trying to achieve is better supply, better risk reduction. In fact, this process should result in improving the quality of the supplier. If you find some of the supplier are not willing to participate or not showing interest, you have to churn them out. Okay, many global organization also have this idea. Yearly, they will have 20% of the supplier being churned out because they are not able to cope up with the requirement or not showing interest. The reason could be many, including business volume is less. So all these things has to be considered in an integrated management. So there are methodology available. You cannot simply take a new supplier or throw out existing supplier. This is where measurement comes into picture. Whatever you measure, then only you can access what level the vendor is there. So there are various metrics available. So you should be aware of what are the metrics available and how to measure them and which metric you can apply to what kind of a supplier. You can see in this pyramid at the bottom you have transactional supplier. Possibly this could cover your 60 or 70% of the quantity supply. I am not talking about the value wise. It could be a small value item, but still number of item being supplied. Here possibly we cannot say don't measure, but finally some basic measurement should be there. Then as you go up this pyramid, you should have some measure by exception, then compliance measurement, then as you go up regular multi-parameter past performance, then finally measure progress towards the joint goal. So this relationship can be improved only when you know what is the capability and the status of the vendor, and is supplier is making effort to improve the current status. Because now our customer is expecting a huge from us. In fact, they are expecting a cost reduction every year, 10% or so. And not only cost, now they are talking about improved quality, reduced lead time. So we have to expect same thing from the vendor, and for that measurement is required. If you are not measuring, then you cannot look for any relationship. So there are various methodologies available which we go into detail. For example, top-down performance measurement method or balanced scorecard method is available, where there are four important characters we take care apart from financial, like internal business process, innovation, learning and growth, and as a customer focus, how we are going to do. Then we also have something called EFOM, the business excellence model. So you should have a knowledge of each of this model. Okay, when you want to develop the relationship. So this is what we are discussing in detail in our program. If you need any assistance or you want a detailed program, request you to get in touch with me or our executive. You can see the site for both the live and the self-paced program. These are WhatsApp number for our executives. You can reach out to me or our executive for any doubts or clarification. Any one of you who is watching need a doubt or clarification, you can always type in the LinkedIn comment. Hope we are able to understand. And this is an introductory session to give the highlighting to highlight the supplier relationship development. Of course, this is a ocean. Many times we conduct a 2 days program focusing mainly on relationship. What are the methods and whom we have to focus and how to measure. Finally, you have to show the improvement. Finally, the value should be derived from this relationship. Any of the people watching live from various social media, any doubts or clarification? You can type in the comments if you need any doubts or clarification. Supplier relationship management has become one of the core aspects of purchasing or sourcing professional. But you need to be methodological. You should understand what are the techniques available so that that relationship can be developed in a better way. Okay. Okay. Thanks for watching. Have a nice evening and a nice weekend. Happy Holi. Bye.